Welcome back to another episode of Some Old AV Guy. My name is Eric. So I thought I would do a special episode since this Monday is the inauguration, and it got me thinking about these past few years and what I've done to focus on self-care for myself. And myself? And myself. I put out on our Reddit page a question in the Eventproduction subreddit. And the question was, how do you focus on self-care in this industry? Now, it wasn't a rhetorical question, nor was it a direct question. As I've gotten older, I've realized that a self-care routine is something that actually helps keep me grounded and keeps me enjoying what I do. Now, don't get me wrong, I love what I do. I wouldn't do it, and I wouldn't have been in this industry for 20 plus years if it weren't for the fact that I love what I do. Unfortunately, we all know that sometimes life gets in the way. Sometimes a client is a little difficult to deal with. Sometimes our coworkers are difficult to deal with, and then sometimes it's just the schedule itself. I just came back from Charlotte from a show, and it was actually one of my easier gigs that I've had. And when I have shows like that, I can appreciate that there are times where we have to work 12, 14, 16, 18-hour shifts. And when we have an easier gig, it tends to even it out. Or at least that's what I used to think about when I was working for a full-time production company. Now, I can say I have some regrets in my past for not focusing on self-care, missing birthdays, becoming overstressed and allowing anxiety to get to me. But anyone that's been in this industry long enough knows that it's all taken with a grain of salt. If you love what you do, when things get difficult, you will still enjoy what you do. Now, that doesn't mean not to focus on self-care. So getting back to my post on Reddit, I wanted to read today in this episode a few of the comments that I got, and then maybe touch on a few points. One Redditor says, I take Sundays and Mondays off, or the days off that follow a gig. I can say that when I was a project manager and I would travel, the company that I worked for actually allowed us to do that, to take a few days off after the gig was over with. It wasn't necessarily off completely, you know, we'd still answer phone calls or an email or whatnot, but we were able to decompress and get some personal things taken care of. Another Redditor says, take your deserved time off. So again, getting back to making sure that you take some time off when you get back from a gig. Take your deserved time off. Take care of your body and mind during events in small planned ways. Book rest times to go stretch in the sun or by yourself in between sessions, etc. Say no to things you don't agree with or you don't think will honestly be worth your time, energy, or effort. Prioritize your values and your ethics. Book a hair appointment before an event and a massage after. Now, I don't know about the hair appointment, but I can definitely say that when I travel on a regular basis, if I have 2 or 3 weeks in a row that I'm out on the road, definitely booking that massage appointment afterwards because your body gets real stiff and sore. As far as saying no to things, it all really depends on what facet you are in event production. This one Redditor says, I shut off at home once I'm done for the day. I don't answer calls, texts, emails unless something's on fire. I can completely agree to that. I can absolutely relate to getting back from being on the road for a couple of weeks and essentially shutting your phone off or putting it in silent mode. And then when you feel like looking at it, taking a glance to make sure that it's not something that's exploded or whatever. But yeah, I mean, we all know that each person isn't the end all be all. And if something's going wrong on a show, they can always make a decision and or reach out to someone else within the company. Obviously, this is assuming that this is for a production house. This Redditor says that they prioritize caring for their loved ones. That being said, not being miserable is a big part of that. So many times I have seen guys that just hate what they are doing in that moment. And you got to get out of your head when it comes to that. Sometimes the stress in this industry can get people down. This next Redditor says, I stopped working more than 14 days in a row and always take time off in the middle. Eating well, exercising, and having hobbies. I can say personally, over the years of traveling, being on the road, uh, sometimes 1 or 2 or even 3 weeks in a row, that, or even working locally, honestly, that you don't always have time to eat well. Depending on what position you're in, you may not even be able to uh, have much of a meal at all. It may be one of those power bars or protein bars. Try to plan ahead. This Redditor says, in addition to days off following a big event, I pack a care kit. I bring a portable humidifier, always great. I can put a link down in the description below. Good body lotion, again, great for dry hotels and convention centers, and a homemade peppermint foot spray that they've shared with their colleagues. I also bring lots of liquid IV, healthy snacks that I have on me at all times. And lastly, I try to schedule my month massages so that I have one the week following the big event or a travel week.